Hey everyone, SweetJohnnyCage here, back with another guide for Castlevania Bloodlines. This time I'm going to show you how to get through Stage 3 with John Morris on Expert difficulty. This password that I'm putting in here is for Expert difficulty. It will also give you 4 lives from the start, so feel free to pause the screen to get this password. If you are playing this on Easy or Normal difficulty, the stage doesn't change too much. There's just some additional enemies, and I think that's it. I'm not sure if things hit harder or not. I still don't know that. Sorry. Stage 3 is the Leaning Tower of Pisa in Italy. It's a hard stage to do in one shot without dying, so that's how I'm going to do it, but if you have to take a few deaths, it's really not that hard of a stage once you kind of figure out how to move around it. These vulture enemies hold spears, so you have to hit them once to get the spear out of their claws or talons, whatever, and then hit them again to kill them. There is a chance that you can knock their heads off. If you do, you'll notice blood falling from the sky. You still have to kill them, though. You have to hit them one more time. The Minotaurs take 3 hits each. I recommend waiting for them to pick up a column. Otherwise, they will act like normal Minotaurs and chase you. So I recommend just waiting for them to pick up the pillars. So this is the last Minotaur here, and then we're going to go into Stage 3-2. Stage 3-2 has some interesting looking staircases. I don't believe there's anything of value in any of these torches, so I just walk up the stairs, and then I aggro the second eyeball enemy, and then I sometimes kill them, I sometimes don't, but I just let them float around me, and then I move into Stage 3-3. There are a lot of vulture enemies in this stage. If you're playing this with Eric, you would use the pole vault to go up the room there, but with John Morris, you need to swing across here. You can, if you're really good at swinging, which I'm not, you can cleanly swing across all these enemies, because while you're swinging, you're invulnerable. Make sure you pick up that axe. It's very, very important and very, very useful later on. So this is the mini-boss here. It's a big Skeledragon. It's really no different than any of the other ones. It's just, I guess, a little bit bigger. The axe is pretty useful, but you can just whip it every time it comes near you. I recommend staying towards the left of the screen. Even on expert difficulty, this one does not wind up like the lesser ones do, the normal enemies. It just goes back and forth for the most part. So hit it a few times, it will die, and you can proceed to 3-5. This is the interior of the Leaning Tower, which is really cool, has this really nice effect where things are going back and forth. For the most part, though, it is just an effect. It really doesn't affect your platforming, though. It's just sort of like a visual effect. So right there, I pick up the Flame Whip. That was the 30th torch that I hit. For you, you may not hit it. Really doesn't matter. You don't really need it. Most enemies in this level die in 1 or 2 hits, so just keep that in mind. There is a 1-up a little later on in the Leaning Tower, so be on the lookout for that. It's on the right side in a torch, and I'll point it out. If you hit a torch, I'm glad that happened. If you hit a torch, things will fall through the floor. So you have to hit the torches while you're standing like right underneath them or right on top of them. So yeah, just keep going through. This is the 1-up right here. It's after that single torch that is holding a sub-weapon. So we're gonna keep moving through. And believe it or not, the best sub-weapon for this stage is not the Flame Whip sub-weapon. Now there's a magic mirror in that torch to clear it out, but you don't really need it. The sub-weapon, or this Flame Whip sub-weapon is not actually the best sub-weapon for this stage. The axe is. So there's an axe coming up in this area in 3-6, and we're going to pick that up, even though I think I take damage in here. And whenever you take damage, you do lose your Flame Whip or the Flame Spear. So I just take care of all these mummies. There are some bats that fly down, so we're going to jump and kill this one. And then in this section, there's one that comes from both sides. And I tried to jump and swing the whip, but I just failed. But notice I pick up the axe there. So now we are on the exterior of the Leaning Tower. And this is where the axes come in. I failed at throwing that one, but the axes are really good for killing these flying skeletons. So we're just going to keep platforming our way around the tower. This is one of the coolest levels in the whole game, aside from maybe the last level with the reflective surfaces. But there are 2 flying skeletons in the first section, and then there's a bunch in this section where you're just going straight up. So as they appear, you want to jump and then throw an axe, and then it will almost always hit them while they're in the air. So I recommend staying towards the middle of the screen, and then once one of the skeleton dragons, or dragon skeletons, whatever they're called, winged skeletons, I don't know. Once they appear, jump up and then throw the axe. Eventually, the climbing will stop, and then you have to start going around the tower again. So these flying skeletons will appear behind you, and this is where it gets a little tricky with throwing axes. If you can time it correctly, you want to land on a platform and then just face the other direction and throw an axe. However, that can cause him to show up on the other side, so you want to try to be very wary of your spacing and throw your axes at the correct time. It takes a little bit to get used to. 3/8, this is the section right before the boss. This is a shorter level. So yeah, there is an axe here in case you need it, and it's very, very useful for this boss. I'm going to use it primarily. I'm barely even going to whip him. I'm really just going to use the axe here. He is active right after he comes out, so I took some damage there by accident because I didn't realize he was active. While his tail's on the right side of the screen, stones will come from the right side of the screen. So you want to face the boss and then just be wary of the forked or fanned out rocks that come out of his tail. And that is also a tail whip, so you got to be careful. You don't want to stand in the middle. But we're just going to repeat the same thing here that we did on the other side. We're just going to jump to avoid the fanned out rocks or the forked rocks. And then the boss is going to change up for the last, I'd say, third of his health. He is going to start jumping up and down like this, just bouncing on the tower. But, you know, just keep whipping him, keep using your axes, and he'll go down. And that's it. That's stage 3. It is one of the more difficult stages. There are no roasts in this stage. You kind of gotta just conserve your health and, you know, get that one up in the tower whenever possible, and just try your best to get through it. It's a tough, tough level. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. I'll do my best to help you out. If you're looking for more Castlevania guides, please subscribe to the channel so you get alerted when new ones go live. If you really like my content, please consider becoming a channel member by clicking the blue join button below. All right, I'm SweetJohnnyCage. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.